Ramble. I'm Desiree. I'm speaking with Grey Jabesi. He runs a YouTube channel and a podcast called Hardcore Crypto. And he's mostly going to be interviewing me in this video, but we're going back and forth about the cryptocurrency space, investing, and the kind of personalities that are in the space. Enjoy.
So what I would like to talk about now is, the whole thing of bringing guests and get to talk about, what is your Bitcoin story? It's a little outplayed right now. It's played out. So what I want to talk about now is what are the opportunities that are available for people right now in cryptocurrency? Because the story of Bitcoin has been you invest money and you get rich, which worked for a lot of people who invested earlier, right? There's probably still opportunity for people now, but I think the game has been evolving. There was the time for ICOs. If you were early on that, you more likely, got well off and profited from that. And now it's a different chapter again for crypto, different market conditions. So what we want to discuss now is what are the opportunities that are there that people aren't paying attention, but they exist. But before we get into that, it's not hard for you because you have an income stream from crypto-related activities, right?
So not a big one, but a little bit, yes.
Okay, sure. So those are the things that we want to explore. But maybe we can figure out some things together while we talk about it. But before we get into that, let's talk about how you got into crypto yourself quickly, and then we jump to the main subject.
Okay, so we are kind of going with the Bitcoin story a little bit, but it's like a part of everyone's story that's involved in the crypto space. Well, I first heard about cryptocurrencies, I think in 2014 from a podcaster that I listened to, and I bought myself one Bitcoin. I think it was like between $200 and $300. I'm not quite sure. And then I was just going to leave it, but then I had to pay my rent 1 month when I was in college. And so I took it out. So that was like my first introduction to Bitcoin. And then I forgot about it until like June of 2017, when everybody started talking about it. And I was like, oh yeah, that thing. And I tried to get myself some more Bitcoin, but I won't go into the details. And also altcoins were on the rise. So I looked into a few of them, like Ethereum, Dash. There's so many different ones, like Salt was a thing. They were doing so many ICOs at the time that there was always something new. And I didn't have a lot of money, but any spare income I had from the job I was in at the time, I tried to, get some. And then towards the end of 2017, I had someone who was an advisor on a cryptocurrency project called Particl, and they built a decentralized private marketplace.
Right.
Asked me if I wanted to do some content for that project because he'd seen some of my work. I make videos more political on another channel, and I was like, hey, if you want to, make some content, that would be good. It might not have been video, it might have been writing. And I said, yeah, sure, I'm interested in privacy. I was like already pretty much into that. And I no longer work directly for the project, but I'm still a part of the community and do things for them. So that's how I got involved in the cryptocurrency space. I did a lot of teaching myself of how things work, like what is cryptography specifically, first of all, and then, what's a blockchain, how does that work, how does a blockchain work with Bitcoin, and what are different kinds of alternative currencies out there. And one of the articles that I did was talking about how a lot of altcoins aren't actually uncoupled from Bitcoin in terms of their price movements. It's a sign that the space really isn't very mature at all. Like, people don't look into projects for the project themselves, and they don't have their own isolated economies that have to do with whatever value they're providing to people. They just follow, like, in general, Bitcoin's price movement, which says a lot about the space. Like, if you think of each coin as its own value proposition, they're all kind of saying the same thing, which means that they're not actually that differentiated yet. And boom and crash, we'll very slowly start to see certain projects emerge. Some of them will be going off of the inertia of marketing during the ICO wave, and that will help them in the long run. But we'll definitely have to see projects like actually provide value to people and not just be hyped because, oh, cool new technology, marketing terms, you know.
Okay. That is good to know. So I think there's a missing piece here in your story. You missed the point where you bought lots of Bitcoin for $200. That part you didn't really share.
Oh, well, I don't really remember it. It's years ago. Like I only bought one.
How did you accumulate 100 Bitcoins?
I don't remember. I went on an exchange and I signed up. I think I must have gotten, I don't remember if I had my own, I don't think I had my own wallet. Pretty sure I didn't. So I think it was just on an exchange. I like got something. I don't at all remember what exchange it was. I don't really remember anything, but I know I got one and I logged back in afterwards.
What people are interested to know now is how many Bitcoins you got. Is it 40, 100? Because
I'm not gonna say that. That's personal. That's not something I would share with with you or the callers, really. So.
Okay, you're trying to keep your privacy. Okay, then maybe you should share how many Particl coins do you own?
I also wouldn't share that either. That's also private. That's just something between me and myself, really.
That's the power of crypto, right? That you can, even your banker doesn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, depends on the coin. That's something to talk about. I care about privacy, and Bitcoin is not fungible. That means that you can trace the transaction history, so you can kind of tell, because there's always a fiat on and off ramp when someone goes to an exchange and they give their credit card details to get themselves some coin. You can trace back specific addresses, Bitcoin addresses, to individuals. There's a company called Chain Analysis that does it for lots of federal agencies in the US at least, and I guess probably other countries in the world. If not now, in the future they will. So it depends on the cryptocurrency, and it depends on how you use it. Like if for Bitcoin you create new addresses every time, and if you use a mixer, you can help somewhat with that, with having privacy, even though you're using Bitcoin, so it doesn't link back to your existing accounts or addresses that are already linked to your real world identity. And then there are specific privacy coins like Particl or Monero, Dash, PIVX, Zcoin, Zcash. There are lots of different kinds, and I have a book called.
I had a podcast with Ruben Yap from Zcoin. Some cool guys.
Oh yeah. Ruben's cool.
So
I was gonna say I have a book called. Sorry.
You have a what? A book?
A book called The Privacy Coin Guide that goes into like what the different privacy coins are, and how the technologies work. But my point is that you had said that that's the power of crypto, but it depends on how you use it. Not every cryptocurrency does grant you privacy, and that's something to keep in mind.
No, I wasn't specifically talking about privacy, but I was talking about the power, kind of sovereignty. You become your own. Just by holding Bitcoins, you're actually your own bank. Technically, you control, you write the rules after that. So there is traceability from the on to the off ramp. But once you're on ramp yourself into crypto, whether it's Bitcoin or whatever, you become the boss then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as you're not holding your crypto on custodian exchanges or custodial wallets.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that. And that's this idea of self-sovereignty, I think, is really important. I think a lot of people get it, but a lot of people don't get what it could do. And the way the cryptocurrency space is shaping up, it's as if people are abandoning that for convenience, which isn't surprising, because with great power comes great responsibility. And you might feel safer trusting professionals, meaning just people who, I guess, understand the technology enough or have thought it important enough to teach themselves the fundamentals, the technical fundamentals, to use cryptocurrency at its utmost power, which is being your own bank, having self-sovereignty, like you said. But for some people, that's too much work. Like Peter Schiff claimed he lost his Bitcoin the other day, which he didn't. And because there was a custodian wallet that was holding his coins, he's probably fine. And I think for someone like me, I don't want that. I'm into the dream of being my own bank and knowing how important that is to have currencies that are not just cryptocurrencies, but separate from states, because you can have state issued or centralized cryptocurrencies as well, even though that's not how Bitcoin started off as. So yeah, it's the power of cryptocurrency, self-sovereignty.
Yeah. So let's go back to the main subject for today, which is the opportunities in cryptocurrency. What do you see right now that's going on? Because I'm based in Africa right now, and there is a lot of scams and trade. The big things that people tend to jump on that much is investment platforms, which none of them is real, by the way. They're all scams. Or they could try to jump on, say, trading, right? Which most people cannot do because they're lazy to actually do the work of learning and to understand the concept of it, really. But also just by design, it's almost like gambling. A lot gotta lose for a few to win, right? So before that, during the ICO, there was promises. So the ICO companies, there were some coins that you don't even know who goes to Asia or to Africa and sell the idea that the coin that they're coming up with is better than Bitcoin because of X, Y, and Z. I can give you an example of carrot bars. It's one of them that's so popular here right now. So I could bet that you have more people with carrot bars in Africa than maybe with people with actual Bitcoin. I could actually make that bet because, you can speak to a lot of people and they'll be like, I invested in carrot bars because it's backed by gold, Bitcoin is useless and all that. So meaning that they don't really spend a lot of time to figure out what the value proposition is. But these people are looking for opportunities in the realm of cryptocurrencies. It's a new thing. It could make them money, but then they don't know. So for you, in your experience, what are the opportunities that you see now that maybe are being overlooked?
This is a difficult question to answer. When you first said it, I was like, that's a really hard question to answer. And I'm going to get a little bit philosophical in my response. So you said people are being lazy, like trying to get, not taking time to educate themselves, etc. Would not describe myself as a wealthy person or a rich person. However, that's extremely relative, as most people outside of, say, the States or first world countries know. And I would say the first thing to think is that you don't get anything quickly. Like nothing of like real value is going to come into your life because you're trying to take a shortcut. You're trying to just get ahead of other people without specifically providing value to other people. And so the first thing I would say you need to do if you're looking for opportunity is to take the time to educate yourself. You have to invest in that knowledge within yourself first and foremost, even if it's not the immediate gain that you're looking for. So that this whole space being about scams, I have so many people emailing me all the time. I just figured out how to turn it off on Telegram, offering me something or coming on my channel, which is so small, and making comments about how this and this guy helped them. If you want to invest, you can find out about a coin. And I think it's difficult to predict which coins are going to do well. So I think it's important to diversify. That's a big principle in investing, is if you want to lower your risk, you diversify. You don't put all your eggs into one basket. Instead of, if you don't want to teach yourself how to trade, then and you're going to have to teach yourself about which coins to invest in. And the biggest thing I could say, and someone asked me that on my channel recently, like, oh, what would you invest in, for example, is to diversify. Another thing you could do is to provide some kind of service. So I think it's really difficult, but you could try something like mining. Obviously, it would be really difficult to do that with Bitcoin, but there might be some other coin that has mining, but doesn't need as much processing power to get it done. Or you can, just like in the traditional world, you could provide some kind of service that someone wants that is related to a blockchain or a cryptocurrency project. Like, I don't know, marketing or just basic business functions. So I would say, like, off the top of my head, that's all I can think of is if you're not going to trade, then you have to invest. If you're going to invest, you need to learn fundamentals. And if you're going to invest, it's probably good for you to diversify and spread your risk out. And then you can also just treat the cryptocurrency industry as an industry like any other one and just provide regular business services. And you're going to get funds because you do a good job and you provide value to people. But no way, I think, is it going to just come easy. And you're just going to get some like kind of quick thing happen. I think that's like an short-term appealing mindset that probably doesn't really work.
Right
also, I think
on.
It's unethical to scam people. So
right on. And you know what? I created a platform after so many messages of like, oh, teach me how to trade. It's like literally somebody will hit me up on Instagram asking me to teach them how to trade on Instagram. It's almost like people think there is a secret or a word or a trick that you do for you to say to make a trade or whatever. So I experimented with creating a platform called cryptouniversity.co.za. I've made a course there for people who want to learn. I put like a lot of good information for trading, with lots of different strategies, easy ones to very extreme difficult ones, right? And it's $50. And you will see that people don't think that they just don't have the balls to invest in something like that for themselves, to get educated properly and then be aware of what they're doing. Then they would run away from that and listen to another guy on Twitter or Instagram who DM them and promise them of this platform that would double their money within 48 hours. And then they would deposit $1,000 into that and then lose it all. And then they come back to me like, hey, I got scammed. How do you think I can get back my Bitcoins? Like, but I told you, all you needed was $50 to just get it right. So I think it's also the way society is designed of handling responsibility to other people, right? It's almost like the college thing. A lot of people like to go to college because if they don't get a job or life isn't not well, they can blame that, oh, I went to college, I have a degree, but I don't have a job, right? So it gives them an excuse almost.
Yeah.
So they don't want to take self-responsibility to say, play with the money themselves. If you want to trade Bitcoin, do it yourself. They would rather give it to someone else. So people still hit me up and say, can I give you my money and you can trade for me? So I think this is a bigger problem. And if that attitude doesn't change, a few $1 billion will be lost in crypto related scams. Maybe by the time Bitcoin hits $1 trillion market cap, I would say maybe $10 billion could be lost in scams. If not, actually, because did you see the OneCoin scam?
No. Tell me about it.
So it's this woman from I forgot where she's from, but she's an academic and she has also worked in the traditional corporate before. So she came into the space, created a coin, and really she ramped in Asia, claiming that this thing is better than Bitcoin. It's going to change the world. And a lot of people were investing money into it, and then it reached to a point where it collapsed. And then she escaped and nobody really knows where she is. There's a big documentary right now on Fusion on YouTube. You should check it out.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Exactly. And BitClub mining was the other one as well that got a few people got arrested in there. And I don't know about where you are, but where I'm at, it was a very, very big thing.
Okay, it could just be me. Like I haven't really been on social media in like a week, for example, or it could just be like geographically where I am. But I wanted to comment. It's 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 disheartening because there are lots of people who are not doing well, say materially in the world, which I personally would like for more people to be doing well materially in the world. And so they're desperate for, money. But like it can't just come for nothing. And like most people, not everyone in the world, most people who have money, um, get it through providing some kind of service to other people.
Right.
And they can leverage, like technology to do it. But like you have to do it the slow, hard way. Not necessarily slow and hard way, but you have to at some point be giving something to someone else in order to like be getting money back from them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just like expect to do some really quick thing and then not even take the time to educate yourself. Even if you wanted to give someone your money so that they could invest for you, did you take the time to educate yourself just on that person or that company?
Right.
Like to
or
the
concept of what they claim they would double your money on.
Yeah. Like you just like you have to do some kind of work. And so on one hand, I feel sorry for people, but on the other hand, I'm like, at the same time, this is an issue within yourself that like you need to figure out, and like you're just going to keep facing the consequences of not, as you would say,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
not gonna lie. I ran out of feeling sorry for people, because it's like I remember in 2017 I made a video saying, hey, there was a big connect thing going on. I was like, this is a scam, don't do it. And then people came and attacked me like severely on my comments.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then 4 months later, the whole thing collapsed. And then they looked at me like Jesus, like, oh, this guy actually knew it. And those same people, again, they invested in another thing that was similar to that. It's like, yo, man, like you didn't learn anything, But anyway, getting philosophical. So do you see the world as a nice little island where everything is nice and beautiful and things are just going to happen? Or do you think it's a war zone where you have to be really aggressive to win?
Neither. I think it's somewhere in between. And I think you just have the presence of both. Like most people in the world are really good people. And then there's like a small percentage of people who in general have bad intentions, and like will create havoc intentionally. In some ways, I've heard the theory that they exist in order to keep the rest of the population on their toes. So there's that. And then there's also just people who do have good intentions, but their good intentions result in bad things because we're messy as like individuals. So I would say neither. Like I wouldn't describe the world as either like a aggressive war zone or just like they call it here Pollyanna-ish view of the world where everyone's just nice and you're naive. I think that you have to foster elements of both and learn to discern who are good people and what are good opportunities, and when you need to like have some kind of protection for yourself, either like physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. So you just have to learn to navigate like the different pockets that exist.
Very thoughtful view. I think it's very it's very, very nice. A very nice way to put it. But do you think that you live your life on the defense or in offense type of way?
I think I would more go for offense, just because I think you should try to be proactive. So I don't know if offense is the right word, but definitely like defense makes it sound like things happen and then you respond. And I think you should like take stock of your situation, be in touch with yourself, figure out where you want to go, and then figure out what the world is like out there, and then like chart a path. And like your path's gonna like get all messed up because you can't predict the future. but like I think you should be proactive. Yeah.
Yeah. I think defense sound kind of but look, that's really how it is. It's like I think there are two classes of people, or at least you can be in two types of mindsets, in which it's either when things happen, you feel sorry for yourself. You think that things are happening to you, right? So you're pretty much static, and then things happen to you, and then you reactive to things. Or you're making things happen, and then when they happen, you acknowledge that this is probably a result of an effect of your action, which is kind of the cause and effect concept around it, you know. So when I think of crypto right now, I think that it's a market where you pretty much have to be in offense for you to win, because as much as the good people, they're also just as bad people, and there are so many bad people at high levels, you know, controlling some of these protocols or owning little companies. So I think it's if you pay attention to the guys on top of the food chain right now and the type of thing they do or the deals they make, it's to me it's questionable these days, you know. Just look at the likes of Justin Sun and all these guys. It's a cold game.
I haven't really been following that. Like the last news I heard about that was like the dinner Warren Buffett thing. Like I don't really know. I don't really have an opinion on it, except I know that Tron does a lot of marketing. I actually keep going to like searching like what is the Tron blockchain and trying to figure out what it is, and I just keep forgetting what exactly like the actual blockchain is providing. But I'm curious about your opinion on, I mean, you already said a little bit, but could you go a bit further into what Justin Sun is doing that you think is questionable?
Well, it's just that these guys are in here to make money, you know, just like the guys on the bottom. So the way I see it is that the intensity of the kind of the financial motivation at the bottom of the crypto market is as intense as the guys at the top. And then in between, you get guys that are really just trying to do good, or they believe in the whole story of Bitcoin, the libertarians and all these other guys. So it's just that, you know, there's a lot more financial interest from both sides, top, bottom, but then the guys on top, obviously, they own the things that people have to buy. And with that sense, you know, anything can happen. You see even exchanges these days, you know, Binance, they do some questionable things with the type of tokens that they list. If you're a trader, you would have known how much of this market is controlled by whales, which is people with big number of coins. You see 46,000 Bitcoins moving around exchanges, and a lot of these guys are exchange owners. So I just think that as much as people would love to believe about what this is all about, and I'm also at fault of that. You know, it's like you're tempted to think that crypto is better than, there's no politics, you know, everyone is really just doing things. But, you know, it's human flaws that get exhibited when certain situations are kind of renounced. So I just think everyone should be careful right now. I like what you say when you talked about custodian and custodian wallets. I think, look, when people are going in a certain direction where they're centralizing themselves for convenience, I think in that kind of situation, I would just go divergence. I would just diverge from that pattern and see how the other route could take me, because you almost know how the whole centralized exchanges thing will end. The exchanges will become banks. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you just said. My hope at this point for the cryptocurrency space is not to lock out the people who think differently from me in terms of like being your own bank, who care more about convenience. Like they have access to the technology just as much as anybody else, but just to hope that the people who think like me, who want more decentralization and self-sovereignty don't get kicked out either. Like it's just like that both groups can exist even if one is bigger than the other. And I think the threat is that the people who want, say, like all the KYC, so you can't have any privacy or fungibility with coins, or want everything tracked and prefers for everything to be structured, centralized, and just to be a continuation of existing financial structures, except with better underlying technology, that they will try to shut down anything else, because that's kind of the history of the world. So my hope at this point is just because cryptocurrency can be censorship resistant just by structure, for it to like maintain itself even in a small pocket as this idea of self-sovereignty, even while all the centralization still goes on within the space. So that's
I liked your commercial that you did for your project.
Which one?
I don't know which one it was, but it was the Particl one. I think you only have one. Do you have a few one?
Yeah. On my channel, yeah. Oh yeah.
It gave me so many ideas of what I should be. I was like, when I saw it, I think it was in 2017, 18 or so. I was like, I should become more creative and do a lot more fun stuff. But I haven't done anything. Here we go. So what are you spending your time doing these days then?
Well, I just finished an MBA in school, and I'm looking for work right now. I'm in the middle of onboarding onto short-term work, and then looking for longer-term work. And then other than that, I maintain my political channel, crypto channel, and I haven't done any in like a month, but I also make art. So that's pretty much my life. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't think the bitcoins you have are enough to take care of you? Why do you need work?
Well, again, that's kind of a personal question, because like maybe if how I strategize my life, it doesn't make sense for me to be looking at my cryptocurrency. And I'm pretty sure I'm always going to be working. Like I don't think I'm ever going to be like, oh, I've made it, I'm just going to stop now. I don't really work like that.
And what are you interested in working on? Like, what do you want to do?
What I do now.
What do you want to do?
That's really what I want to do. Other than that, like I want to just keep talking about things that interest me, engaging with people in the world, make art both for myself and for other people. That's it. But I like that. I probably it's not work, but I like to teach myself things. So if I have more free time in the future, I probably teach myself stuff.
So when you say you're looking for work, you mean like art related projects or like serious corporate gigs?
Well, serious, it depends. It just like I have a specific goal that I'm working on right now, that I won't mention, and the jobs have to tie properly into that. So it doesn't have to be a serious corporate gig, but it could be.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. What is your first language?
English.
English.
Yeah, English.
Okay, but you have.
I mean, in Jamaica we speak Patois, but it's basically like a dialect of English.
Right, it's a dialect of English. Yeah. Oh, but so your accent is kind of Patois-ish, so to speak, right? Like you're.
Yeah, I guess it's probably has some Jamaican in there.
That is a cool accent, by the way. Everybody in the world wants it. Except for Jamaicans.
I know everybody says that. I can't hear it, so I don't know what people hear. But that makes them like it so much. But yeah, everybody says that.
Yeah, I think people like Patois, like except for Jamaicans. Like everyone just want to know how to speak it, but it's like.
Oh, it's because it's just normal. Jamaicans like Patois though. Jamaicans are pretty proud of the culture in general. It's like a proud country.
Well, the thing is, I've met a few Jamaicans that try to speak perfect English. Oh, they actually speak perfect English. It's like, yo, it's almost like
you have to speak perfect English, because like I've had the experience where because it happens at the beginning. You have the experience where you don't speak perfect English and people don't understand you, so you have to speak perfect English. Like you're trained socially to do that if you're not among other Jamaicans. It's not. Nobody's trying to do it. It's just like it's trying to understand each other. It just makes sense for you to speak
survival,
proper
eh?
English. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I think we can end it here for now. Thank you for your time. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.